history was made in South Carolina last night. One of Sarah Palin's so-called Mama Grizzlies became the state's first female governor. Republican Nikki Haley, the daughter of Indian immigrants, knocking off Democratic rival Vincent Shaheen in a hard-fought race. And Nikki Haley joins us live this morning from Columbia, South Carolina. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. First of all, let me just say congratulations. How does it feel this morning? I know this was a hard-fought and in some cases bitter campaign.
Good morning. It's been a long 18 months, and in all honesty, I don't think it's set in yet, but we certainly are excited.
How do you view the win this morning? There's a lot of talk about, this being a rebuke of the current administration, a rebuke of establishment candidates. How do you view it this morning as you get set to lead the state of South Carolina?
Oh, this was people finding the power of their voice. It was people saying, we want government to remember who it is that they work for. We want government to know the value of a dollar, and we want jobs in the economy to come first. This was all about the people saying we've had enough. It wasn't about a party. It was about taking their state and their country back, and it started with South Carolina, and we're thrilled.
One of the questions that people have is what's next for South Carolina. I mean, the entire bitter situation with former Governor Mark Sanford and just this legislative gridlock that you guys experienced in the state. There were some concerns that that may continue with you as governor. How do you assure the people that you are going to get things done in that state?
You know, this is a turning of a new page. This is a time where we go back to the basics. We look at the fact that government was intended to secure the rights and freedoms of the people. It was never intended to be all things to all people. And certainly when you give a man a job, you give a man pride. We're going to give a lot of pride to the state of South Carolina. We're going to do it with the legislature. We're going to do it with the people who have their power and their strength back. And we're going to make South Carolinians proud.
You know, this race did get ugly at times for you. There were rumors about, inappropriate personal relationships. At times, there were rumors and innuendo questioning your religious beliefs and your Christianity. How do you shake all of that off and move forward? I mean, are there grudges? Are there bitter feelings left over from this?
No, there's no room for personality conflicts when you're in politics. If you really want to do the work for the people, you don't let those things get in the way. I never let those distractions get in the way. Our focus was that we needed to stay on the issues. We needed to stay on the facts. You know, politics is the art of distraction. When they saw we were winning, they tried to distract us. We didn't let that work. Our focus has always been about doing right for the people of this state when it comes to jobs, when it comes to education, and more importantly, with spending and how we spend our dollars in government. So, while it was a brutal 18 months, and I certainly wouldn't wish that on anybody, we had to do it because when you push on the establishment pushes back. But it was our job to make sure that we got this done.
You mentioned the need for creating jobs and the promise to create jobs. Why do you think the State Chamber of Commerce sided or endorsed your Democratic opponent instead of you?
You know, the National Federation of Independent Businesses, which is the small businesses in South Carolina, endorsed me. The Chamber of Commerce is part of the establishment. You know, it's certainly big corporations and dealt with a lobbyist that is certainly controlled by the establishment. It made sense here in South Carolina. We understood it. It was a mistake on their part, but we're still going to focus on the businesses of the state.
The interesting thing also is that you got a lot of national support. You got a big endorsement from Sarah Palin, of course, a big endorsement from Mitt Romney. How much do you think Sarah Palin's endorsement helped you?
Listen, every ounce of support from Jenny Sanford to Mitt Romney to Sarah Palin, all of it mattered. What I love about Sarah Palin is she's gotten the people in this country to know the power of their voice. And when she came to South Carolina, we already had a groundswell that was going, but she certainly got the rest of the state to pay attention and listen to our message. And so I'm very grateful for the help that she and Governor Romney gave, Jenny Sanford, Mark Sanford, all of them. All of that together put the stars in alignment. We're very grateful.
It's interesting because it didn't work out that way for some of the other candidates that Sarah Palin had endorsed as part of her so-called Mama Grizzlies. One, Carly Fiorina. We also saw Christine O'Donnell in her Senate race in Delaware and Sharon Angle in that bitter Senate race in Nevada, all losing. Why do you think that happened?
I don't know, and the last thing I'm going to do is become an analyst on another state. What I can tell you in South Carolina was that people were tired of both parties. They were fed up with the arrogance of government on the federal and state level. They were fed up with the spending and the lack of responsibility, and they wanted someone that was going to be able to bring those voices of the people back again. And they agreed with our message. We asked them to join our movement and said that this movement's never supposed to be about a person. It's never supposed to be about an election. It's about what the work we're going to get done in January. And so we're grateful to the people of this state, and I think this is a groundswell that will continue to go across the country.
You know, you said it's not personal, but you certainly do. Your win is a source of pride for not only women, but also for Indian Americans. Right. Bobby Jindal, you joined him as only the second Indian American to become governor in the United States. What does that mean to you?
You know, I hope that it makes people proud, but really, as historic as I think a lot of observers are going to say this is, what I hope is historic is the work that we do in January and the things that we get done in our first year in the Haley administration. That's really what will be historic, is the work that we do and the pride that we give to the people of South Carolina when they see that we did a great thing. But we're proud for the women in this country. We're proud for the Indian American community. We're proud for our families. But most importantly, we're proud for the state of South Carolina.